Today we're going to be working on Photoshop Assignment 11. Handout folder, J. Serretta, Grade 10 Photography, Section C Photoshop, and Assignment 11 as soon as I find it. Here we go. So here it is. We're going to open this up in Photoshop. So I provided you with a photo with a couple of layers here. Okay, there's a background layer, and there is a character who was cut out of another photo. So you can use this photo, or you can use one that you have a close-up that you've taken yourself. So with this model layer selected, I'm going to duplicate this layer by pressing Command J. Okay? Then I'm going to change the blending mode of this to screen. Kind of brightens it up a little bit. Okay? I want to duplicate it again. And then what I'm going to do is go to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur, which we've used before, and set the value to 4.5 pixels and press OK. Okay? It just blurs it just a wee little bit. Change the blending mode to Overlay. And we are then going to merge it down. So layer, merge down. And there we go. We have our model copy that we're going to be working with. Okay, the next step is going to be to select the shirt and pants of the model. So we can do that using the magnetic lasso tool. So very quickly make your selection. As usual, you may want to take a little bit more time to be a little bit more precise in your selection. I'm doing this very quickly so that I can continue with the tutorial. And we will select shirt and pants. Okay. Now what we're going to do is create a new layer. Click on this little icon to reset our foreground background colors, or you can do that by pressing D. Okay. We then want to invert them either by pressing X, or we can click on this little arrow to put the white in the front and the black in the background. And we're now going to add a filter. We're going to go to Filter, Render, and we're going to add clouds. Isn't that lovely? Okay. We're then going to add one more filter, and we're going to add an artistic filter. And this time it's going to be plastic wrap. Okay, so there's a little image preview of it. Click OK. So there we have that filter applied. We're then going to change its blending mode to color dodge. Okay, so you can see that it adds just a little bit of an effect. Okay, so you can turn that on and off just to see what happens there. Kind of a neat effect that's been added to our project. The next step is going to be to create some laser lights around this guy. So first of all, let's get rid of this selection. We don't need that anymore. And so we're going to create these lasers around this character. And what we're going to use to make these lasers is this pen tool here. Now the first thing you're going to notice, and I'll do this on a new layer, is when you start to draw, you can see that it's filling in. If that happens, you've done it wrong. Okay? There's two functions of that pen tool, and that's one of them. Okay? So what I'm going to do is, with that pen tool selected, up here at the top, I want to change this setting from shapes to paths. Now what I'm going to do is I'll start down here and I will make some lasers that are You're going around this guy. Let's retry that one a bit. And that's just a quick selection. Okay, so there's the lasers going around him. Yours will probably look different. You don't want to overdo it. Now we want to reset our foreground background colors again. You can do that by pressing D. Invert by pressing X. Now what we want to do is, because we have this path here, we want to select our paintbrush. And we want to do this so that we can open up the brushes panel and we can change this thing called shape dynamics here, okay? So you can see that you can change the size, jitter, you can change the minimum diameter, the angle jitter, the roundness jitter, and we can add something called scattering, which is what we want to do, okay? So we want to add a scattering effect here. And I will set my brush, it's set to about 15 now. Let's turn the scattering off for a second. Let's just leave it with shape dynamics. We're going to do this twice. I am going to select my pen tool again, select the color that I want my laser to be, so I'm going to make mine red. Then Control, click on the path, and we are going to go to fill path. Actually, no, sorry, stroke path. And we want to make sure that this is the brush, and we want to simulate pressure. Click OK. So there's our laser. That's the first step. Okay. The next step is go back to our paintbrush and check off scattering and add some scattering to that. And go back to your pen tool, and I'll even add this on a new layer just to keep this going here. Control click, stroke path, brush, simulate pressure. That's probably a little bit too big. So what I want to do is go back to my brush and I will drop the size of this down to maybe 5. Okay, go back to my pen, control click, stroke path, and there we have a nice laser light effect. Okay, so we've done that twice. Now we can delete the path by pressing enter. Okay, so that clears that path that was underneath there. Now, we want to open up the layer styles dialog box here. So if I double click on this, it will open this up. And I want to add an outer glow. Okay, so you can see how that's added a nice outer glow. And I can adjust some of these settings if I want to increase that glow or decrease that glow. Okay? So try that out and get something that looks good to you. Now, what we want to do is click OK, and I can add an outer glow effect to this too by double clicking and adding an outer glow just to beef it up a bit. Now, we're going to use the eraser tool to erase some of these glowing lines, okay? So some of the parts where it should be going around him. So if this is in front of him, this part might be going behind him. So I will erase, I need to select both of these. I guess I got to do one at a time. I will erase this area, and I will erase this area. So it looks like the laser is going behind him. Again, this is in front. Maybe here it's going behind him. So I will erase this area, which theoretically you shouldn't be able to see. And I will do that as well on layer 3. So delete this area, which should not be visible. We'll keep this one in front of him to keep that effect there. And there you can see a bit of the laser. So there's the laser light wrapping around him. Okay? So once you're done that, what we want to do is make our light effect stronger by duplicating this layer. So let's duplicate this, which will make it a little bit stronger, and we'll change the blending mode to overlay. Okay? Once you're done, you are going to save this as, once again, last name, followed by an underscore, followed by assignment11, and save that to your desktop. Click OK, and you can then put that in the hand-in folder.